Papa Grande, Origins, Part 1. Age 5, November 15th, 1958. Footsteps echoed through the halls that morning as the sun greeted the whole area of Venice, Italy. A young Grande poked from around the wooden door, putting his attention towards the woman, in which was closing a full box of his tiny learning books and knickknacks. A frown seemed to be painted on his face as he made his way inside the empty room.
"Mama, do we have to go?"
he asked suddenly, making his mom, Abrianna, jump in front of a focused state in mind. She moved to adjust her dress, standing with the box in her arms.
"Oh, Grande, you know your father received a job in America. He told you days ago about it."
"But..."
"Grande, sweetie."
Abrianna placed the last box next to him. She leaned down to look at his large, brown orbs.
"Everything will be okay. America is a big place, I know, but
I like Venice, Mama."
Grande glanced over to the last box. His eyes started to fill up with tears. Abrianna, seeing this, pulled his small hands into her own, rubbing the top of them with her thumbs.
We will get adjusted, Grande. Your dad, yourself, and myself. All three of us. America will be a new step for us,"
she explained, trying to calm a small child with his emotional distress. Grande's eyes dropped to the floor.
"Do you promise, Mama?"
Abrianna, not fully sure deep down, hesitated slightly in the response. She softly smiled.
"I promise, Grande. America will be a brand new start."
She softly placed her right hand on his head, messing off his brunette hair.
"Now, go get in the car. We're leaving in a little while."
Grande's attention moved towards his messed up hair.
"Okay, Mama,"
he replied, his voice still saddened. He then turned around, walked out of the barroom room with a little excitement. Abrianna, after he left, looked towards the box again, and heaved it up with a grunt. A nice home, a job, and a new life, she told herself, walking down the hallway, going towards the stairs, the box heavy from her tired self. At the bottom of the stairs, Grande stood next to his father, Arthur. Arthur let loose of Grande's shoulder softly, seeming to have just given her a lecture, looking over the tired Abrianna.
"Oh dear, let me help you."
He placed his foot on the bottom step. Abrianna gave him a nod, moving the box out of his arms to his own.
"Thank you, Arthur. This is much appreciated."
Arthur leaned in, kissing her cheek.
"Of course, my dear. Now, I'll go and put this in the trunk."
He carefully walked out of his small home, leaving Abrianna and Grande inside. Grande clasped his hands together, a frown still on his face from before. He then started to follow his father, going towards the parked grey bicycle on the driveway. His body seemed to pulse with every anxiety of the older world, new friends, and new places, as he opened the door to the car, sitting down in silence. As time continued, Grande and his family arrived at the port. Carefully, each member of the family showed the tickets, grabbed their belongings, and went inside of the rusted, steel ship. Grande couldn't help but look at the ship with concern. Still outside with his family, people are lined up near him, each going to the same destination, America. His small hands moved over towards his mom, holding tight.
"Where's Dada?"
he whispered. Abrianna held his hand tight.
"He will be back soon. He's putting the vehicle inside of the ship. We'll have all our boxes inside as well."
She moved her hands back and forth with his own. Closer and closer, they arrived at the door of the ship. Abrianna held the tickets close to her chest, taking a deep breath.
"All right."
"Tickets, please,"
a man said, holding his dirty palm towards her. Abrianna looked around.
Well, my husband is coming soon.
Tickets, please.
He told her again, his voice sounding impatient. Abrianna, letting out a sigh, held out a ticket and Grande's, entering the large ship. Person through person, they pushed their way through.
Excuse me?
Grande whispered, bumping against the lady. Abrianna tucked him closer to her.
Such a crowded place.
She said to herself, trying to avoid the other immigrants the best she could.
Where's Dada?
He glanced around once again, still not seeing him anywhere.
Grande, he has his ticket. I was hoping we would enter together, but now we have to wait.
She told him, trying to get his mind to be calmer.
The ship to America is leaving in 10 minutes.
A loud voice said, followed by a loud horn. Grande, not expecting a sound, yanked his mom's dress, making her almost trip over his form. She quickly reached out balance.
Grande, that was just a horn.
She brought her other hand up, fixing her hair. Grande slowly formed tears in his eyes, and moved her dress against his face.
Oh, Grande, what will I do with you?
A sigh went past her lips, squeezing a small hand unloosing.
Please, be calm.
I'm sorry, Mama.
It's okay, Grande. From now on, please remain calm. Just get your mind off of bad feelings, okay?
Okay, Mama.
She spoke, walking out of the large crowd into a room, sitting down on a bed with an exhausted grunt. Grande, curious, let loose of his mother's hand and walked towards the door. He took the time to glance down the hall. Arthur, which was a sweaty mess, made his way inside the ship, his head slightly lopsided.
Mama, Dad's in!
He shouted, growing sudden smile. Abrianna sighed in relief.
Had a great time, too.
Arthur moved through the crowd, getting to the room quickly. Grande, in happiness, clung to his leg, giggling.
Dada!
Hello, Grande. Sorry for the delay.
He apologized, fixing his head to its normal position.
I had to wait a bit till I could pull the car inside.
Abrianna sat up, about to say something to the whole ship, jolted a bit, making Grande fall over. Abrianna laughed.
Looks like it's time to go.
The ship to America is now moving.
The voice yelled, followed by another horn blow. Grande's sinking feeling slowly started to rise once more as he heard those words. He rose to his 2 feet, running onto the bed to look out the window. The boat moved forward, away from the pier where the others stood, unable to make it into the boat on time. Grande's hand touched the window, his hands thumping in his chest at a fast speed. This was goodbye. His last time to even see this wonderful place he once called home. Arthur took a seat next to Abrianna, touching Grande's shoulder.
Like your mother has told you, Grande, everything will be all right.
6 p.m. Grande's head was rested on Abrianna's lap, his eyes shut tight, his body still. Nearby, Arthur looked at his watch, his eyes looking just as tired as Grande's. The sea seemed to move the boat constantly, at sharp shifts, making the family feel ill.
Attention passengers, we have arrived.
A voice explained outside of the room, once they could hear the loud cheers of glee, followed by footsteps. The boat came to a halt, jolting Grande and Abrianna awake. Abrianna yawned loudly, stretching out her arms.
Hun?
Arthur perked up, his mind wandering.
Yes, love?
You should get ready to get in the car now. We'll be down very soon.
Alright. Make sure Grande is ready.
I will, hun.
Abrianna concluded, watching as her husband stood up, leaving the room quickly. Grande's head rose from its position. his eyes half shut, hair messy.
Mama?
Abrianna gave a soft smile, brushing his hair down with a hand.
Hello, Grande. We're here.
In America?
Yes, silly. We have to go now. Off the boat.
A moment of silence arrived before Grande slid off the bed.
Okay, Mama.
12 a.m. Hours upon hours they drove, eventually arriving at a small brick house in the state of West Virginia. Grande questioned most of the things he had witnessed on the way there, from the different trees, some of the animals, and even way others wore their clothes. Just like his mother had said, this is a brand new start for them. Yet, Grande was still incredibly frightened deep down, homesick even.
This is such a beautiful house, Arthur.
Of course. Luckily, it was cheap compared to the others. I received a great deal.
His arm wrapped around Abrianna's shoulder, causing her to smile more.
Are you ready to go inside, Grande? To see your new room?
Grande nodded, his mouth still closed shut. He moved up to the wooden stairs. Arthur went ahead to unlock the door, pushing it open with a loud squeak. He let out a chuckle.
The door needs some oil or something. I'll have that fixed up.
Arthur started to say, just to be kissed by Abrianna, who in which touched his face.
We should be thankful we even have a home, Arthur. The squeaky door won't bother us.
She smiled grayly.
I love you, Arthur.
Grande continued to feel unsure, but after thinking and looking inside, seeing his parents together and happy, he actually gained some more hope. September 15th, 1962, age 9. Eventually, as time continued, Grande's negative feelings slowly started to dissipate. He started to grow highly adjusted to the new world, just like the other kids. He went to school, went to parks, and overall had fun. His once isolated self broke out and had hard shell to greet the new world with open arms. His interest seemed to bloom on the one thing of the age of 7, one thing in general. In the middle of the room, Grande sat. His eyes were focused on the square screen of the small TV. On the screen, a tall man held out a top hat, making beautiful white doves fly out of the blue. Grande's mouth went agape in awe. No matter how many times his child witnessed this act, he continued to have the same reaction.
Magic?
He whispered to himself. Starting to think, his thoughts were quickly interrupted by loud, banging sounds.
Grande!
Abrianna called, knocking on his door. Her voice caught, with the sound of bliss. Her eyes were lit up as she stood outside Grande's door. Quickly, she knocked again.
Grande, come on. Your father has a surprise for you. Come on, birthday boy.
He grew a smile and then leaned up, leaning to turn off the TV. With a flash, the TV turned black, and Abrianna continued to knock.
It's something you've been wanting for a while.
With that, Grande, almost tripping over a nearby rock, grabbed the handle to the door quickly, opening it.
Really, Mama?
You have to go see.
Abrianna knew how excited the boy was. For a long time, he had backed him. Every single time, when a certain object appeared on screen, he would frantically run to them, wanting it. It took a while to buy such thing, but when it finally arrived, both Arthur and Abrianna knew Grande would have what he begged for. Stare downstairs, his body pulsed with excitement.
Daddy, Daddy!
Taking a quick turn into the tilted kitchen, almost running into his father, who in which held a huge bug in his hands. Arthur backed up a bit, shutting the door behind him.
Happy birthday, Grande. I'm guessing your mother spoiled your surprise.
Abrianna made her way through, leaning on the counter,
Oh, shush. He wanted this for the past few months.
Well, Grande,
He slowly placed the box onto the floor. It was retaped shut from the opening to be back.
you know what it is then?
Grande, wasting no time, asked.
Can I open it, Daddy?
Arthur rubbed his neck.
I was hoping you would want your cake first, but... Okay.
He backed up, letting Grande have his cutting space. Abrianna moved to Arthur's side, putting her head on his shoulder lightly.
He doesn't know about his other present, right?
Arthur asked Abrianna, his tone of voice serious. Abrianna slowly shook her head.
I didn't tell him we had something extra.
She whispered back, hearing a tearing sound from the box. Followed by a gasp, Arthur and Abrianna looked towards his son, who and which was a throwing fabric, which kept things from getting broke out of the box.
Do you like it?
Abrianna asked, noticing how still Grande had gotten all of a sudden. Grande's eyes started to water, looking at them. Arthur, suddenly getting a panicked feeling, rushed over towards the box and saw the gift.
You don't like it, Grande?
Abrianna asked, a frown appearing, her heart sinking. Grande's hand moved inside, taking out the top hat with a red bow. He held it out from his face, looking it over. His other hand moved inside, his hand going around the wand.
Mommy, Daddy.
Grande, are you okay, hun?
Abrianna asked, going over to his form, motherly instincts kicking in. Arthur lowered his head, heart sunk.
I'll go back to the...
No, Daddy. No, Mommy. I love this. The hat. I have a hat now.
With that, both of them let out a relieved sigh, glad to be assured in such way.
Thank goodness, Grande, don't scare us like that.
Sorry, Mama. The hat isn't a part of the magic trick kit.
You like it though? Right?
Arthur grabbed it from his hands, placing the hat on Grande's head. Grande moved his hands up to his face, brushing away the tears.
Yes, Daddy, I love it.
He held the wand close to his chest, Abrianna and clapping her hands together.
Time to sing?
Happy birthday!
Grande said to himself, moving over towards the kitchen table to sit, sing that one song and eat. 9 p.m. Later during the night, Arthur brought a magic trick set into Grande's bedroom. The available props are scattered all around the floor in a messy heap. Grande's small form rested against the bed, holding his hat in his hands.
I'm a magician!
He said to himself. Nothing but the echoes of night surrounding him in the current silence. He stood to his feet and turned towards his bed, placing the hat on his head. He picked up the wand and afflicted, nothing happening in return. He then tried again. Nothing happened.
Aww.
He sighed and afflicted faster, making a reaction occur. The whole heap of flowers popped out, causing Grande to jump, a little in surprise. The wand went flying through the air as Grande let loose of it, landing on the carpet nearby. After regaining composure, he picked it up once more and looked over it, feeling good about his accomplishment.
Mommy, Daddy, look!
He called for them, looking down the hall just to hear footsteps.
Look at what, Grande?
Abrianna questioned, arriving at his door. Grande then lifted the wand, showing it to her.
I did it, Mommy!
Abrianna blinked in surprise, and then moved over towards the bed.
Wow, Grande, this is marvelous!
She told him, sitting down.
Can you try it again? So that Daddy and I can see?
Grande, in thought, glanced at the wand.
Yes, Mama, I can do it.
He told her, confident in his newest talent. Abrianna then touched his head.
I'll go get your father really fast, okay, sweetie?
Okay, Mama, I'll be ready.
Once his mother left the room, he scurried around, trying to grab all the magic trick props he had managed to figure out. He kept a wand underneath his arm and placed them all in the middle of the room, all neat. Footsteps echoed through the hallway, once again as Abrianna and Arthur made their way in, sitting down on the bed with curious eyes.
Alright, Grande. We're your audience today.
Arthur leaned forward, his elbows against his knee.
Show us what you know.
Abrianna adjusted her dress and focused on him, both silent. Grande, suddenly feeling a bit nervous, wrapped his hand around his head, adjusting it. He looked at the now normal wand, lifting it onto the air.
Abracadabra!
He said out loud, flicking it fast, receiving the same reaction as before. The wand, as expected, popped out of flowers. Abrianna and Arthur both started clapping, filling Grande with more hope and other positive feelings.
Grand, you've improved, sweetie.
Another!
Arthur cheered, both trying to keep Grande's confidence level up. Grande laughed happily, rushing over to grab another magic trick prop. He dug through them all, until he found 2 orbs.
This one! This was the first one I learned today.
He said, turning around to face them both.
Then show us that one, Grande.
His mother said.
We love seeing your tricks, sweetie.
Arthur gave a nod towards Abrianna's comment.
Yes, Grande. Show us, son.
Grande, feeling confident, held the 2 orbs in his hands. Eventually, much to their surprise, the clear orbs seemed to float. They appeared to just hover above his hand, as if gravity itself had been lifted. Arthur and Abrianna both started to clap once again, in awe at the process his son had made. Eventually, Grande stopped doing the trick and placed the orbs back on the pile of props, gently.
This is all I know so far.
With a pat on the head, Abrianna smiled, getting to her feet once again.
You impressed me, sweetie. Keep it up. Such a talented boy.
After hearing such words, especially after being called talented, Grande took off his small top hat and did a bow. Abrianna laughed.
Charming, too.
Alpha stood up and placed his hand on Grande's head, lifting it out of his hands before placing it on his own head. Abrianna started to shake her head, before being swept off by a feat by Arthur. Grande, watching the both of them, started to laugh.
Daddy, my hat!
He said, following him around the room. Arthur, after a few minutes, softly placed Abrianna down. She stumbled.
Goodness, Arthur, I'm so dizzy.
She laughed, holding onto his shirt tightly. Grande, tugging his lower lip out, looked at his dad. Arthur kissed the top of Abrianna's cheek, plopping the top hat back onto Grande's head.
Well, I bet you are.
He said. Grande took off his top hat and held it in his arms, watching them both more. Arthur glanced over at him with a smile, seconds later.
Okay, buddy. You know what time it is.
Abrianna nodded and then grabbed Grande's head, leading him towards his bed.
Bedtime.
Abrianna whispered, pulling his covers down. Grande kept a tight grip on his head, crawling into bed, with it still under his arm. Abrianna rose a brow.
You're going to sleep with your hat?
She questioned.
Yes, Mommy, I like it.
He held it close.
It means a lot.
Abrianna then moved to pull his covers up, tugging him in.
Okay, baby boy. That's fine then.
She then gave him a kiss on his forehead, about to leave the room. Grande, before she could leave, nabbed her attention.
Mommy, could you tell me a story?
He asked. She turned back to him.
Like what, sweetie?
A good story!
For a soft giggle, Abrianna went onto her knees beside him, leaning against the bed.
Okay. Where to begin?
She said to herself before clicking her fingers.
I have a good one, Grande, alright?
Tell me, Mommy.
Abrianna then turned towards him, looking at a small form all covered up.
This is about a small boy. A special one.
What's his name?
We will get to that soon, sweetie.
She said, clearing her throat.
He is a smart, talented boy, one which has a beautiful family and a great future. As he grew, he kept those talents inside of his heart. He never did let go of them, not even one.
What's his talent?
Well, Grande, his talent was magic.
Like me?
His eyes widened, getting more and more into the story.
Yes, Grande, like yourself. As this boy continued to age, his talent only continued to blossom even more. Eventually, he had a large home, a big family, and a job of his own.
She told him.
And you are that little boy, Grande. You have a big future ahead of you.
Grande's eyes appeared to glow with emotion, and he lifted his arms from under the covers. Abrianna moved in and hugged him tight. She then exited the room, turning off the light.
Good night, Grande.
She said, leaving Grande inside with only a small light to light the corner of the room. Grande then decided to take a moment to look down at the top hat, which was in his arms.
I am that boy.
He said to himself.
I am that boy.
September 27th, 1963, age 10. Even a year later, Grande's remarkable passion of magic continued to grow. He had collected almost every single magic-related thing he had known, with his parents' help, from gods to making things vanish, to even create his own magic tricks. Each one he had practiced after school, sometimes for more than an hour. Such dedication often made his parents proud, as for they supported their son's unique talent. Grande stood in his room that morning, a full deck of slightly faded cards in his hands. In his left hand, he had his hat and his usual bow. He quickly tossed the cards inside his hat, shaking it around a bit.
Behold,
he said to nobody, turning the hat upside down. Not a single card fell out. Not even one. They were all gone. He smiled, feeling proud at how he finally mastered his trick after a good month of practice. Outside, Abrianna heard him cheer from the window. Her hand was buried in dirt from the garden. Arthur walked over to greet Abrianna from the car, with a whole bag of seeds.
Boy, Grande sure does sound happy.
Abrianna continued to scoop dirt.
Of course he is, Arthur. He's doing so well at those tricks of his.
She said.
Now, can you sprinkle some seeds in here?
She gestured towards the multiple holes in the soil. Arthur heaped up the bag more, moving over each one, sprinkling tiny ant-sized seeds into each hole. Abrianna slowly started to cover the holes back up, hearing the front door open up wide.
Mama, Daddy!
Arthur placed the bag onto the green grass, looking at the small, overjoyed child. Grande ran up to Arthur.
Daddy, check your pockets!
Arthur blinked.
Why, Grande?
He brought his hands down to his dirty blue jeans. His fingers traced the smooth fabric, and then he felt a lump in his pocket.
Oh, what do we have here?
He moved his hands inside, pulling out a whole deck of cards. He could only stare, surprised.
Well, well. How did this get in there?
Grande clapped happily.
I did it! I actually did it, Daddy!
He snatched the deck of cards from Arthur's hand, placing them back into the rectangular container. Abrianna giggled.
How cute! You sure surprised your daddy.
Arthur rubbed his neck.
You sure did. You surprised me a lot, actually.
Abrianna suddenly started to think to herself. Grande did seem to surprise them a little too much. Sure, he supported him each time, but he never really did go outside to perform with others around. Grande had a skill. He had the talent in general to surprise many, so maybe.
Hey, Arthur, hun?
She said, grabbing Arthur's attention. Arthur turned around, looking directly at her.
Yes, Abrianna?
You know, I was just thinking, maybe you should go take a break?
Abrianna? A break? I've only been working for an hour with you.
Arthur let out a chuckle. Grande quickly placed the cards back into his hat, placing it on his head. Abrianna stood, her knees covered in dirt.
Well, maybe Grande would like to go to the park for a bit. With you and his magic?
Grande's eyes lit up, quickly looking at his father. Arthur placed a bag of seeds on the grass, taking off his gloves.
That depends on Grande.
Grande's head lowered to his feet.
I never actually perform in front of others except for you guys.
Would you like to go?
He asked, wanting a confrontation from his son. Grande, feeling slightly excited, said,
Yes, Daddy, I'd love to.
Alright, Grande. Then we'll go. Go and grab your magic trick set.
Grande started to walk towards the front door.
I'm going to change my clothes first. I don't want to be in public looking like this.
He informed, taking off his shoes and his patio, walking inside. Abrianna gave Grande a small smile, returning to her gardening. Grande looked at his mom.
You think others will like me?
He said.
Grande, you will be surprised. Just be yourself. Go on now.
Grande quickly turned and made his way into the house once again, walking down the rock towards the wooden door, entering his room. Inside, he gathered up all of his props, his orbs, extra cards and more items, moving them into a black box. He wrapped his fingers around the handles, trying to lift up the box, just to barely even lift it at all. With a tug, he fell back, landing onto his back with a thump. He let out a huff, starting to get upset.
So heavy.
He growled, trying to lift it again. Arthur eventually left the bathroom, a new pair of clothes in his form. He glanced around, hearing Grande from his room. He chuckled to himself, walking towards Grande's room.
Need help?
He questioned, opening the door, seeing Grande struggling.
Yes, Daddy.
He answered, letting go. Arthur then walked over towards the box, lifting it up without a grunt.
Alright, let's get going.
Grande quickly followed behind Arthur, excited to go to the park. Eventually, they were on the road. Grande couldn't take his eyes off his magic trick set, which was on the back seat. He removed his hat, putting it on his lap, looking down at the cards inside.
Just be yourself.
He said.
Just be yourself.
He repeated, hearing his voice. His father looked over.
Hey, that is a good thing to remember there, bud.
Mommy told me.
Grande moved his legs.
I hope they like my tricks.
Well, your mother is right. Just be yourself. You will do great.
He turned his attention back to the road. Grande's smile grew, getting confident yet again. 1 p.m. The area was deep green. Wooden benches went around the brick plaza, directly in the middle of the large park. Children ran along the playsets, while parents sat among themselves, bickering at each other. Teenagers chatted underneath of the trees, talked to each other, spreading gossip as birds flew above. The sound of car doors slamming shut seemed to disturb the park, soon being followed by the sound of Arthur and Grande.
Here we are, bud. The park.
Arthur held tight onto the box, walking out of the driveway into the grass. Grande observed the multiple people around the park, each doing their own thing in some form. He sat down on a nearby bench, patting next to him, signaling to his father to set the box down there. With the sound of rattling and a thud, The box was placed on the wooden bench in clear view. Arthur placed his hands into his pockets, sitting next to the box as well, on the right.
Alright. Where to start?
He questioned, looking at Grande's expression. Grande started to whisper to himself once again.
Just be myself.
He started to think, looking over the two adults. A man was sitting with his wife, both holding hands, looking at a small child nearby. Grande slowly placed his head back onto his lap. He held the deck of cards, placing them back into his head. Just like before, he moved his hand over the opening of it, shook it a while, and then slid it over the bench, placing the head back onto his head. The wife spotted Grande coming near and then giggled.
Oh, look at the little magician. Such a cute costume.
She smiled. Arthur watched, curious, but aware what Grande was doing. The husband chuckled.
Halloween isn't for a long time, kiddo.
He told Grande, getting shoved by his wife a bit. Grande stood straight.
Will you check your pockets for me, please?
The husband blinked.
Why, kiddo?
He asked, obviously confused. The wife then tilted her head, curious. Grande placed his hands behind his back.
Please, sir, just really fast.
He asked once more. The wife nudged her husband again, clearing her throat.
Come on, don't be rude.
She whispered to him. Her husband then decided to reach down.
Okay, but I don't understand why.
He started, just to feel a large lump in his pocket. Behind the man, a child watched, blinking at Grande. The husband pulled out a pack of cards, surprised.
Well, I'll be damned.
He laughed.
How did they get in my pocket?
The wife started to clap.
It's magic, hun.
Grande quickly took the cards from the husband's hand, shuffling them around, holding them out. The kid, about Grande's age, walked out from behind his own father.
That is really cool.
He said, looking at the cards.
Is this another one?
He asked. Grande moved his head up and down.
Yes, you want to try?
He asked the boy. In reply, he nodded, reaching out to grab a card from Grande's hand.
Don't tell me what it is, okay?
The boy glanced at his card, keeping it hidden from Grande. The wife and husband watched, curious. Nearby, children started to walk over, curious themselves. Arthur watched from the bench, hands together, smiling at the forming crowd.
Now put it in the deck once again.
The child slid the card back in, letting it combine with the others. Grande then closed his eyes, shuffling around, and then cracks his eyes open again.
Now here.
He hands him another card.
Is that your card?
Grande asked. The kid shook his head, showing Grande. Grande smirked a bit and then coughed, a card coming out of his mouth. The crowd gasped as Grande opened it up, showing the kid.
Is that your card?
The kid, in shock, nodded.
How did you do that?
He asked, looking over. Grande placed the deck back into his head, bowing. The crowd clapped. A few adults made their way over, curious themselves.
With magic, of course.
Of course, as time continued, he had to return home to eat and rest. Suddenly going out to perform started to become an everyday thing for Grande. He would ask his dad or mom to take him to the park, or about an hour or more. Each day, he tried to draw in more of a crowd, and indeed, he did. He was publicly known, and he was proud about the fact. September 21, 1963, 6 p.m. A long road. The sound of a new car went through the surrounding area. Inside, two men sat, both with the eyes focused on the environment around them. The window was cracked as cigarette smoke rolled out, greeting the fresh air. The man on the right let out a loud yawn, flickering the ashes off himself.
Finding talent is quite the chore, Lewis.
He said, brushing his brown hair back with his left hand. The man on the left, Louis, only rolled his eyes.
Listen, Drake, everyone has their own type of skill,
he replied, turning the wheel a bit. Drake shook his head, leaning forward.
I swear.
You had better listen to me, Drake.
Louis started.
Back there, that is my theme park, and I only brought you along so you could help me. Stop sounding so damn unconfident. We will find someone.
He lectured, a smile forming on his face. Drake let out a sigh, rubbing his face.
My mistake, then.
September 21st, 1963, 6:30 p.m. The uproar of a small crowd seemed to shake the trees of the park. In the middle of the crowd, young Grande stood strong. In his hand he had a watch. The child from before was right next to him.
Okay, Ricky, in my crowd, observe.
Flicking his wrist, the watch, which was just in his hand, appearing to vanish into thin air. Grande then glanced around, pointing at the woman nearby.
You, could you check your purse?
He asked. The woman in confusion nodded. After an unzip and a gasp, she pulled out the black watch, holding it into the air. The crowd started to clap loudly. Arthur chuckled to himself, standing up. He pushed his way gently through the crowd towards the woman, tapping her shoulder softly.
Hello. May I have my watch back now?
He laughed. The woman passed over his watch, continuing to clap for the talented young boy. Nearby, the brand new car seemed to be only a minor noise as it pulled into the driveway. With a halt and a click, the door slid open, followed by a pair of jeans and boots on the left side, and the grey pants and boots on the right. Louis leaned up on a leather seat, shutting the door with a slam. Drake, feeling off, glanced around.
Well, why did we stop here?
He wondered. Louis smirked.
Something caught their eyes, so I'm going to see with my own eyes, to see what's going on.
He chuckled, moving towards the crowd. Drake, sighing, crossed his arms, sitting in front of the car. Grande, not seeing Louis, placed handcuffs around his wrist. He held his arms out, showing the crowd.
Watch as I break off these cuffs,
he said, twisting his arms around. The audience watched closely. Arthur staring at Grande, never expecting this trick to come from his son.
Grande, are you sure?
He asked, quietly. Grande, feeling confident, tugged, his hands suddenly coming out of his tight cuffs, almost as if they were never placed around his wrists. And in the place of the cuffs, were flowers instead. Arthur clapped, amazed, followed by surprise. Louis on the side. Louis' eyes drifted.
Young child?
He questioned, eyes wide.
He knows that?
Grande's body appeared to glow through the eyes of Louis. This was what he had been looking for. He had been looking for talent, with a unique owner to hold such a skill. Yet, he never did expect to see such talent, such magic, in the form of a child. As soon as the crowd started to dissipate, Louis stood still, observing. Arthur placed his hands on Grande's shoulder.
You, never did that trick before?
He said, smiling wide.
I learned it 2 days ago, Daddy.
Grande said, smiling at him.
2 days?
Louis asked, walking closer towards Arthur and Grande. His hands were inside of his pockets, body straight. Arthur not expecting a voice from behind him, looking back. Grande quickly nodded.
Yeah, I learned another trick a day before that too,
he said, not hesitant to talk about his magic. Louis rocked in his heels a bit.
Such talent, and at such a young age.
Arthur messed up Grande's hair.
Thanks. He is a talented one, inside and out.
he replied, Grande puffing his left cheek. Louis leaned down, getting on his right knee to look closer at Grande.
Tell me, lad, do you want to be a real magician?
He asked, startling both Grande and Arthur.
I would love to. Where can I...
Grande started, Arthur stopping him.
Excuse me?
Louis could have mentally stopped himself, then realizing.
I have yet to introduce myself. How rude of me. My apologies.
He said, interrupting Arthur.
My name is Lewis. I am the owner of a brand new theme park in this state. I've been driving around this state hoping to find people to hire, for the park entertainment, of course. Your son caught my eye. Never did I expect to see such a talent in the form of a child.
He explained, making Grande smile even more.
You want me to join? I'm going to be a real magician?
Grande asked. Excitedly, Arthur, getting nervous, shook his head.
We have yet to agree to that, Grande. We don't even know this guy.
He whispered. Louis felt around in his pocket.
Okay, I will tell you this. I am very interested in your son. If he does come and work for us as a magician, we will be sure to give him more opportunities.
He said, taking out a piece of paper and pen.
We have this brand new building. All of it is already done. There's a stage upstairs, and if it makes you comfortable, we will give you a tour.
He quickly started writing down his phone number and the address. Arthur, still a slight suspicion and surprise, took the paper, looking it over. Arthur smiled down at Grande once more, bowing his head a bit before walking off, leaving Arthur and Grande to clean and go home. September 21st, 1963, 9 p.m.
I don't know how to feel about this,
Abrianna said, holding the piece of paper in her hand. Arthur rubbed his face, slightly tired. Grande, still excited, bounced around the kitchen.
I want to be a real magician.
He said, laughing to himself. Abrianna and Arthur both discussed this, since Grande returned home. Of course, they were both concerned and suspicious about the opportunity as well. Arthur took time to look over at Grande.
I know. But still, we do not even know the guy.
He explained. Grande, stopping, gave him a frown.
Please, Daddy, I want to be a magician, a real one. I'd do anything, please, please.
He begged, tugging his father's pants. Abrianna, getting frustrated, sighed.
Grande, enough. We'll see about what we can do,
she explained. Arthur gave a nod, sitting on a chair.
Go on now. To your room. It's time for bed,
he instructed, making Grande frown even more.
Daddy, please. I want to be a magician, a real one.
Grande repeated, turning his form around.
I would love that, Daddy.
Abrianna frowned, as did Arthur, both looking at each other as Grande left the kitchen, heading to his room. She glanced at the number once more.
I want what makes him happy, but...
He is too young for such a thing. To have a job at this age.
Arthur interrupted, frowning. Abrianna nodded and then placed a piece of paper down onto the counter. Her green eyes lowered.
I know, hun. I know.
Arthur then left the room, going to go to sleep himself. Abrianna was left alone, the phone right next to her. As soon as the bedroom door was closed, she drew her attention back towards the number. Shutting her eyes, she inhaled, then exhaled, picking it up softly.
Okay, we will give it a chance,
she said to herself, grabbing the telephone from its pedestal. She placed her finger onto the circle, spinning it to a number, one after another. Then, with a few rings, she started to tap her nails onto the counter. A click, and then a tired voice answered. Hello? Abrianna then cleared her throat, swallowing a bit.
Hi, I'm Abrianna Willow. I called to talk about a recent opportunity which was given to my son, Grande.
She explained, sitting down. With a moment of silence, another voice picked up the phone.
Ah, hello there, Abrianna Willow. I'm Lewis. Yes, I did give your son an opportunity. It is a pleasure to talk to you.
Louis answered, smiling on the other line.
Alright, now, about this opportunity, my husband is really nervous as well. So am I. Would you mind if I asked you more details?
Oh, not at all, Abrianna. Ask away. I have all night.
Okay, so if we accept this offer...
Grande would be paid. We'll get more known. We'll get his own room, stage. You all could also come by for a tour. I promise, this will be a great decision.
Okay, Lewis. I will accept this offer, but I wish to have a tour of the whole area. With my son and my husband, of course. I want to see every single thing you have, or it's not a deal.
Abrianna told Louis, making him chuckle.
Abrianna, of course. You have the address, so please, come by. Promise, you won't regret this.
Abrianna let out a sigh.
I better not.
September 22nd, 1963. 3 p.m. The road appeared to never end as they drove. Grande sat in the back seat, face pressed against the window. His brow orbs followed the dirt road as they continued towards their destination. Arthur leaned on his elbow.
Alright. So we are giving this place a chance?
Yes, Arthur.
Abrianna replied.
We just have to confirm that everything is okay, before we agree to anything.
Alright, love. You're the lady of the house.
Arthur replied. Along the road, a large wooden sign was in sight. Along the trees in the distance, a Ferris wheel was visible. As still as a statue, the sounds of music, carnival music, played through the air, drifting like a plague. Grande's eyes appeared to glow at sight, his heart starting to beat heavily in his chest.
Wow!
He said in awe. Abrianna turned left, eventually encountering a metal gate. On the other end, workers carried large planks of wood. Some climbed into rides, some fixing up large tools.
Well, at least he gave us the correct address.
Arthur said, relieved. Abrianna opened up a door, walking out onto the dirt road. Grande quickly undid her seatbelt, following in his mother's path. She made her way towards the gate, wrapping her fingers around the bar.
Hey, you there, excuse me.
She called out, catching the attention of a walking worker. His head turned and raised up his brow, confused.
We've come to see a man named Lewis. Is he here?
Abrianna asked. The worker nodded.
Yes, I'll go get him for you. Come on in.
He gestured for them to walk inside. Abrianna's right hand wrapped Grande's left. Walking through the opening gate, Arthur followed behind, his eyes traveling over all the workers and rides. As they walked, Grande walked through the grass, seeing the larger building ahead. The outside, which was a light brown color, and had colorful circles around the sides. In the middle of the building, a double door was open, as if calling for him to go inside. Abrianna could only stare as they followed the worker inside, stopping at the hallway. Inside the building was beautiful. Wooden walls. The wooden floor reflected any image back, as clean as can be. Pictures hung on the walls, with clear, flowers holding vases below. The place was simply beautiful, at least through Grande's and Abrianna's eyes.
Oh, they're here?
A voice asked, catching their attention. Down the hallway, a door opened once again, revealing a slightly chubby man, Louis. His outfit was pure leather, blue and clean. He slowly opened his arms, smiling.
Welcome, I'm glad you could make it,
he said, positive. Arthur moved towards the side, looking at Louis.
So, ready for the tour?
Louis asked, seeing Grande. Grande excited, nodding quickly.
I sure am.
September 22nd, 1963, 5 p.m. After a couple of hours, the family was once again inside of the building. Louis, after showing them the multiple rides, locations and booths, finally gestured them to follow.
Now, it's time for the building. This building is one of my main attractions here. This is because it is, in a way, a hotel for the guests. There's about a total of 10 guest rooms, each with 3 beds. Bathroom-wise, there's 2, but with large stalls. There's also 1 bedroom upstairs in the backstage area, which is huge. It has a king-sized bed, perfect decorations, and it's all for you.
He pointed at Grande, which had a large smile on his face. Abrianna and the rest of the family followed. Abrianna opens a bedroom door, looking inside.
This is very homelike.
She whispered to herself, catching Louis' attention.
Of course! We try our best to keep our visitors happy.
He explained.
That bedroom can fit about 6 people.
He described.
Well, after being shown around, I suppose we'll let him have this job. On one condition, allow me to see the backstage area and the stage.
Abrianna told Louis. Grande let out a loud cheer, his arms in the air. Louis felt hopeful at the point.
Alright, follow me then.
He started down the hallway once again, opening a door which led to the stairs. He traveled up them. The sounds echoed at his feet, smacking the stairs, reaching the top in a matter of minutes. Grande soon followed, along with Arthur and Abrianna, reaching the very top. Louis brought his arms towards the large door.
And now, introducing Grande de Magico.
Louis pushed open the doors, making Grande squeal loudly. Inside of the room, pink curtains hung from the windows. Rows of chairs circled the stage, each placed down to look neatly and cleaned up. Along the center, a red rug went towards the middle of the room. Leading right was a large, beautiful stage ahead. This is what Grande had wanted to see for the whole tour. For the first time ever, he can see it and could finally touch it without a single mark. Abrianna let out a sigh.
Okay, Louis, this is enough to convince me. Grande is a sweet child, so please, make sure he loves this job.
She told him. Grande started to tear up.
Really?
Louis clapped.
Oh, thank you so much, Miss Willow.
He said, looking down at Grande.
Now, are you ready to become a real magician, kiddo?
Grande, not wasting a second, quickly hugged his parents, looking at Louis, tears going down his face.
Yes! I'm ready. I'm a magician, a real magician.
He cried out, both Arthur and Abrianna smiling slyly to themselves.
Okay, make sure he comes back next week.
Louis smiled, messing up Grande's hand between his fingers.
That is when everything begins.
September 29, 1963, 3:04 p.m. A week has passed since he received his job as an official magician. As his father drove up the long dirt road, Grande could feel his body throb with excitement. One of his biggest dreams came true. Of course, both Abrianna and Arthur knew that Grande had waited his whole week, curious for the future of his own self and the possibility of his future, and they made their way towards a large, visible gate. Grande unbuckled his seatbelt, leaning forward from the back seat.
We're here!
He laughed. Feeling the car came to a stop, Arthur turned his head slightly.
Indeed we are. Are you ready, Grande?
I'm more than ready.
Grande replied, opening the car door. Abrianna let out a soft giggle, watching Grande run up to the gate.
Louis!
Grande softly grabbed the gate bars, hopping a bit as his parents started to exit the bicycle.
Calm down, Grande. Do not break the gate now.
Arthur softly chuckled.
Wouldn't want you to get hurt.
Your father's right, Grande. Wouldn't want our big boy to get hurt.
Abrianna said, unlocking the doors. Grande gave a large smile.
Where's Louis?
He questioned, looking around through the bars. Of course, Louis wasn't in sight. His car was even gone. Arthur pulled up his sleeve, checking his watch.
Well, he might not be here right now, Grande.
He then pulled the sleeve back down, grabbing Grande, moving his shoulder. Suddenly, the sound of a bicycle pulling in caught the attention.
Or he could be arriving right after us.
Abrianna could see Grande quickly turn, looking over the car which just pulled in. With a grunt and a loud huff, Louis exited the bicycle. He softly wiped his hands with a rag, tucking it back into his pocket. His eyes scanned the area as he took in the fresh air.
Oh, sorry for the delay. My car wouldn't start earlier.
He locked his vision onto the small family.
With that out of the way, welcome. I'm so very glad to see you all once more. How about we get inside, yes?
Louis, I'm an official magician now, right?
Grande asked, watching Louis walk between them. Abrianna rubbed her arm.
Yes, you are, sweetie. You know this, goofball.
Louis easily sensing Grande's excitement, opening the new gate with a bow.
After you, young magician.
He laughed, watching Grande quickly rush ahead of his family. Abrianna and Arthur both looked at each other.
I thank you both for letting me hire your son. I can tell he's excited for this.
Louis gave him both a soft smile.
Now, come on in. The theme park will be opening soon.
He gestured the parents to follow them inside. Walking right behind Grande, Abrianna started to reach over to grab Arthur's hand.
Sweetie, I just hope we made the right decision.
Love? I know we did.
Arthur replied.
Now, come on. I suppose we should follow.